Yo guys, and welcome back towards this new video here on the channel. On today's video, I'm going to talk about the consumer price index that is going to get released today as well. We'll be talking about this massive price drop off here on Bitcoin and whether we should be still be bullish or whether we should start to become very bearish, of course. So without any further ado, make sure to watch this video till the end to find out about all the general market information, and let's dive in towards the content. So right now what we can see is that the market has been forming this beautiful oversold support line on the daily time frame. And yes, so far, Bitcoin is still technically speaking trading in an uptrend, since it is still forming that higher low structure together with the higher highs on the market. However, I really was not really expecting we were coming down so far, and right now I do think we are still at zones where we can start to accumulate, especially since we dropped off more than 20% here from the high, approximately 18%. I do think that it is a good time for accumulating more cryptocurrencies. Of course, what I'm currently doing is also adding more to my hodl bag, because that is of course what I'm currently have in advantage. As well, for looking towards this downward sloping resistance line, well, previously around was providing massive amounts of resistance, it could start to provide very strong support over here on the market. Like you can see, we've got a very strong rejection over here. We've seen multiple rejections over here. As well over here, another rejection, and right now this level could be starting to flip into support. So previous resistance, basically the symmetrical triangle breakout for Bitcoin currently getting retested, could potentially lead towards higher targets getting created. As well, we're still testing this upward sloping support line, and as long as we're holding on towards it, I personally think we should still stay bullish. If we do break below it, we can start to see a little bit of these lower targets getting enabled. However, I expect today to see a major bounce here. Of course, I've been really anticipating a more stronger bounce here already over the past days here. But right now what I will be saying is that today the CPI reports of March 2022 will be getting released in approximately 4 hours after this video is live. And this will be probably a very bad report in terms of the inflation. There are suggestions that it is going to be around 9.5% and approximately 1.2% increasement against the CPI of February 2022. So it is looking not all too strong for the consumer price index right here. So actually I do expect that the market is going to be moving up in results of this release of the consumer price index, because inflation is rising, life is getting more expensive, and that is in the end of the day going to result for more bullishness to come towards Bitcoin and cryptocurrency assets. So I do think Bitcoin is likely to be bouncing today due to the reports we're about to get. And of course, if we're really looking at the 3-day time frame, we can also see that Bitcoin is still getting rejected by this downward sloping trend line here on the RSI. And this has been a well-spoken level on the 3-day RSI, and we can currently see we have not still broken above it. And in order for me to call, okay, Bitcoin is back in exponential stages, I have to be seeing that break above that 3-day downtrend. And of course, if Bitcoin is going to be able to break that 3-day downtrend here on the market, I am personally going to start to become extremely bullish, and that is really going to be the period that we are going to be anticipating exponential price surges towards the upside. Then looking at the weekly time frame, we can see several structures getting enabled. Of course, Bitcoin coming down here. I'm personally still looking at this W retest. We can still wick massively on the lower side and move up and see it as a successful retest. As well, what we could be looking at is, of course, this downward sloping trend line here that is currently could be flipping into support. You can see there's quite a lot of significance on this range over here. You can first of all see we've got several rejections on the higher side. We've got a rejection over here. We've got supportive touches over here, rejection over here, and currently we are about to flip this level into support. So this is actually a level with quite a lot of significance, and this level could be starting to be providing some support on the Bitcoin weekly time frame. Also, looking at the Bitcoin weekly time frame, and in terms of whether it's a good time of accumulating or not, I personally will be still dollar cost average further in towards Bitcoin, because that is of course my strategy I use to accumulate the most amount of Bitcoins. Of course, what we can see is that we are in a wider time frame, still trading in a macro uptrend, and of course, if we're going to get a decrease all the way down to 38k, I will be still buying more Bitcoin. Of course, if we're really looking at the low in the market in terms of the RSI for the weekly time frame, in terms of accumulation, we are really going to look at that 40 range. So if Bitcoin is really going to come down towards that 40 on the weekly RSI, I am starting to go all in again, and that is going to be definitely a range where I would love to accumulate more Bitcoins at on that weekly time frame. So yes, I am actually still pretty bullish on Bitcoin on higher time frames. It's for me very hard to turn bearish on the higher time frames. especially if I do analyze on-chain data, I do think we should still stay bullish here. Of course, on the 4-hourly time frame, we can see we had just this massive decreasement on the market, basically a free fall across the markets over here, and we're right now really looking for that bounce. Of course, on the 4-hourly time frame, I think it's very hard to chart to exactly see where the market is right now heading towards. Yeah, we could be starting to look at this previous resistance zone. We can see clearly previous resistance right now could be providing support, and that can really cause that market to be bouncing back towards higher regions. But besides that, 1-hour time frame is also not so interesting. 1-hour time frame is of course forming some bearish momentum right now. We are about to form a higher high on the RSI, but significant lower high on the price action, resulting in a hidden bearish divergence. So I am not necessarily all too sure if this is already the initial move that is going to be bringing us up again. There's definitely a very big possibility that we're going to come down again, but of course, like you do know, in 4 or 5 hours from now on, after this video is live, the consumer price index will be getting released, and once the consumer price index reports are going to get released, I personally think there is going to be a massive market movement, and that most likely will be towards the upside, and will be with high volumes as well here. So yeah, I am actually pretty excited about that consumer price index report, because it is really going to start moving those markets. Then really talking about on-chain data and real quickly analyzing about what we're currently seeing here in terms of the exchange net position change on Bitcoin. This chart is basically telling us about whether we are seeing in or outflows from exchanges, and of course what we do know and what the theory behind this chart is here. The more money goes out of exchanges, and of course once they transfer out of exchanges, it goes to cold storage, the more accumulation we are seeing from long-term holders. Because if you do send your Bitcoin, sorry, to a ledger, it's more likely that you're going to hold your Bitcoin for a longer sustainable period of time. So the more outflow we see from an exchange, the more accumulation is going on. And of course, in bull markets usually, or in extreme periods of fear in the market, we tend to see a net positive change for Bitcoin from exchanges. So people transferring from their ledger towards the exchange to sell off their Bitcoin. So like you can see here in the May, basically the summer 2021 correction, there were a lot of inflows towards these exchanges, resulting in a lot of panic selling and resulting in a lot of sell pressure heading towards the market. However, in the stages where the market was very low here, and the stages where the market moved up a little bit here again, we saw huge amounts of accumulation, huge amounts of Bitcoins going out of exchanges. Then of course on the run up, we saw of course once again selling going around here, and basically in this whole movement towards the downside towards that 36k Bitcoin, we've been seeing a lot of selling going on. However, right now in this stage, we have been peaking here, and we've been basically setting the same peaks here as the September accumulation range here. And once again, there's a massive amount, and my face is a little bit in front of it, there's a massive amount of accumulation going on for Bitcoin once again. So there's a huge amount of accumulation, suggesting that the market is going to increase over a period of time here, and that is definitely a very bullish signal. Also, looking at the supply that is lasting active for 1+ year, we can also see a very bullish structure emerge. What this chart is basically telling us is that all the supply that has not been touching their Bitcoins for 1+ year is going to get added. So here, of course, in September 2020, it was approximately 63% of the total supply that was older than 1 year. And of course, once the supply is older than 1 year, basically the theory behind it is less likely to sell, because the longer you're holding your Bitcoin, the less likely you're going to sell, because you've already been through several market corrections, and you have also not sold that correction. So it's likely to see you holding. And what we can see over here, over the course of this bull run and over the course of this reaccumulation phase, we've been seeing a lot of selling and a lot of new wallets getting enabled. So here we were seeing a low of 53% being only 1+ year old. However, we've once again spiked here towards a new all-time high, towards 64% almost in the total wallets on Bitcoin being older than 1+ year. And that is definitely a very bullish signal, because if we're really going to look at the past, we do know that usually bear markets tend to peak out once that 1+ year supply is at a high. And right now, once again, we're seeing the 1+ year supply being at a high, suggesting the market could be starting to be bottoming out over here. So this is definitely a very big buy signal, and of course, that's why I've been still saying I am still buying more Bitcoin in spot, because I don't really think that this is the time to sell off your Bitcoin against a potential loss or against a potential small profit. I do think that there's way more to come, only we have to wait a little bit longer, but do take this market correction as a very big opportunity to still accumulate more in this market. Now, looking at the funding rates, we can still see that there is a massive amount of negative funding rates, and in general, there is a huge amount of more shorts in the market than longs currently. What is also suggesting, there's a lot of bearishness from the sentiment going on right here. And once the people are always too bearish, it usually tends to be a very good time to be accumulating. Of course, we do know that the Fear and Greed Index is also looking at a very low stage, and what we can see basically on all these exchanges is that there is a huge amount of negative funding rate, suggesting that there's a lot of shorts getting enabled on these exchanges, what is basically suggesting a very good trading opportunity to take this market long here. Of course, if we're talking about Bybit, there is definitely a very big possibility to use a small amount of money to take a very low leverage trade here. Let's say a 5 or 6x leverage long here, because if you're going to accumulate low leverage trades right here, so I'm just saying a 5 or 6x leverage position, and you're going to be opening your trade right here, I think you could be making some very good profits. If you're going to be opening your trade with, let's say, 5x leverage, and you're going to open it here on 40k, and you're going to ride it towards 60k, potentially 50k, you could be making a ton of money, of course, since you're using a very low amount of leverage, and you could be making a very high return, of course, of it. So it is definitely a very big possibility that what we do have right now in this market to take this market back towards the upside. And I'm definitely very excited about what we're currently seeing and how the market is currently unfolding itself. So there are huge opportunities to swing trade the market right now, especially since it came down so massively. And we're going to get the CPI reports today. So what I want to be saying, guys, if you do want to be swing trading this market as well, don't forget to check out the link here in the description. If you do want to be trading on Bybit, make sure to sign up or count the link in the description, because if you're doing so, you will be getting a $4,800 deposit bonus. What is definitely a very, very exciting deposit bonus, what you could be taking right now in this market, because if you do not use my deposit bonus, if you do not use my link, you will be getting only a $400 deposit bonus. So it's definitely a win-win right here. Also, talking about Ethereum, we can currently see that Ethereum is trading on $3,000 and it's currently retesting this horizontal range. What is a pretty exciting range, if you would ask me here. This has been a range, of course, of very strong previous resistance, while right now could be starting to flip into support. This is, of course, a very strong previous range of resistance, while I personally expect a major bounce is likely to occur from. And I also have been accumulating a 5x leverage long position on Ethereum, what is definitely a very exciting one, because I am pretty excited about this entry over here I got on the $3,000 on Ethereum. And I'm very certain we are going to see a very strong bounce. Also, do note, Ethereum is going to be bringing out an update in the coming 3 months ahead of ourselves, what is going to result in a massive hype for Ethereum, most certainly. So I am very excited about how Ethereum is right now unfolding itself. As well, looking at the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin valuation, you can see we are bouncing very strong against Bitcoin, and most certainly this trend is going to continue even further on towards the upside after once again seeing another successful retest of this region. So, today's video was a little bit longer. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, smash up the like button. If you do think the content is good, subscribe to the channel as well. It would be absolutely lovely if you're going to subscribe right here. And of course, don't forget to share this video with your friends, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.